Welcome back to Matter of Opinion. We have our first guest with us, Channel 15 Public Access General Manager Lori Murphy. Hi, Lori.
Hi.
Hi. Thanks for being on the show.
You're welcome.
And now, basically, how long have you been in your position for?
It was 7 years in February, so almost 8 years.
Wow. Wow, that's great. And what's the biggest change that you've seen over the course of time of people who are utilizing public access?
We've come full circle in a lot of ways, in that when we first started we had a lot of community service programming, a lot of church-related programming, and we're pretty much back to that now. The biggest change we've seen, I guess, is the quality of shows has really improved.
Quality's improved?
Quality's definitely improved, yeah.
Now, how many public access shows right now do you have currently going on, you think, if you had to take a ballpark figure?
Oh, boy. I could count them, but then that would use up our 10 minutes.
All right, how many shows does Shirley have? Okay,
Shirley's only got one.
Okay.
Shirley's got one. Osiris has one. You guys, the Bible Forum people, they're on before you. We must have 30 different shows.
30?
Yeah.
30?
Yeah, they're on the door out there, actually. I should have counted them on the way in.
Wow.
So now, last time you and I were on the air together was we interviewed Ed Bickford, who's a mayoral candidate. Now is that common that people will use this in order to promote their own kind of political stance? And
not political usually, but almost everybody has an agenda of some kind. There's not enough programming. I think there's not enough programming that's just for fun, just to entertain people, or just to be creative, or just to be expressive. Almost everything is some kind of an agenda.
Boring.
And some of it is, yeah. I admit some of it's dry. Some of it's a little dry.
Let's talk guidelines. Okay. Now you have shows that are like a multi-variety of shows, and what guidelines are there, if any, for someone who has a subject matter that is controversial or not?
The program can't be commercial. That's our biggest one.
You can't can't push a product.
You can't push a product. You can't. You can't have.
I'm going to Taco Bell. oh no! Don't say Taco Bell.
You can't have actual commercial breaks. You shouldn't have a Pepsi sitting on the desk, but things like that sneak in all the time. You can't really be too strict about that kind of stuff. So no commercials, no obscene content, and no lotteries or games of chance.
Okay.
Where's that contest thing?
No, Ben, we can't spin the big wheel for dates later. No, we can't do that. No gambling. Sorry.
No, you can't raffle Ben off or anything like that.
Now, you saw our big sex show about a month ago, right?
Right.
And we had some phone calls from, Hugh Ross, who's the chairman of the board for
the Community Advisory Board.
And he had some concerns.
Right.
And I didn't put two and two together. Hugh Ross is actually the guy who drives around in that station wagon yelling about God and the end of the world. He does it on his lunch hour.
The slogans on the side.
He's a busy day. Now that show. Let's talk about what you thought about that as an example of what didn't it kind of cross in terms of a boundary, and what would be an example of something that would.
Well, if you go by the Motion Picture Association of America standards, it's basically frontal male nudity. Would be, I don't know why, it's a sexist thing. Frontal male nudity is, particularly frontal male nudity in an aroused condition,
now,
is considered obscene.
Right?
So that would really, that's what I go by.
And that's worse than female frontal nudity.
Yeah, for some reason it is. I don't know why.
Okay. Now, we're going to open this up to callers, too, and talking about certain restrictions that obviously are not on public access. And number 658-5165. And let's talk more about censorship here. Now, you just had a meeting today, right?
Yeah.
And was that the agenda that was about censorship?
Probably. I would say it's about censorship. I think that other people who were at the meeting would have said that it was more about community standards and defining those community standards. But I'll tell you, the fear that I have when you start talking about community standards is that it's whose standards and which community. And you take a group as diverse as Burlington. There's any show that's on the air, any program on Channel 15, including this one, I could pull in 30 people off the street to complain about.
Right. And also 30 people who would support it.
And 30 people who would support it. And if you start to say, okay, X number of people saying, I don't like the show, is what we need to get the show off the air, then you're inviting people to just start to just go out and round up their friends and come in and complain. And I think the thing that everybody overlooks is the fact that this is public access. It's available to everybody, and you've got two choices. If you don't like what you see, change the channel, or come in and make your own show.
That's a very good point.
That's simple.
Do you want to take a call, Lori?
Sure. It's probably my mother.
Caller on the air. You want to have a question for Lori Murphy?
Yeah, can you say fuck over the air?
Well, yeah, you can.
You just did.
You just did, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
I think what
He's
people
a lot
have
on
to
his mind,
realize
doesn't
that
A philosopher.
he's probably the one that calls every
wait, another
time. I
caller,
have
I
to
think.
tell you, every day after you guys do a live show, I come in and my message machine is filled with obscene messages. I
Really?
just one after the other.
After our shows, is the same person?
After any live show, any live call-in show where we put the phone number on the air, and
Another caller.
it reflects badly on the people who do it, I think.
Caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Lori.
Yes.
Pat Farrington.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. I was just flipping by. What's going on?
We're doing a live.
Aren't you embarrassed?
We're doing a live call-in show. The show itself is sort of a David Letterman kind of format, and this particular. Sorry. And this.
Oh, I got to undo my belt now.
And this particular segment is on censorship and why we're free of that on Channel 15.
What do you think about censorship, whether or not it should be placed on shows and restricted here on Channel 15 Public Access? Do you have any viewpoint on that?
Sucks.
Pardon me?
Censorship sucks.
You think it sucks?
Can I say that?
You can.
Yeah.
Sure.
Say it again. Encourage you.
Have you ever seen anything here on Channel 15, caller, that you felt as though that you really wanted to place a complaint, or that even viewing it you thought that it was something that was just too off color to be viewed locally?
Not really. I don't watch the channel that much, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
When my shows are on.
When your shows are on?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot, caller.
We're never watching his show again.
No way.
Never.
No matter what it is.
No way.
So that's the thing that I think is important about public access, is that most people want to watch what they make or watch things that they're involved in some way. And the audiences are small, but they're real particular. The show they're watching has a lot of, like, parents of kids who play in Little League baseball games. I mean, let's face it, I sit there and watch them. Wow, this is exciting.
I just watch it looking for someone to get
grandparent or
beamed with the
kid.
ball. That's all I watch it for. Some parents standing up yelling about their kid and gets smacked in the head. I'd like to see that. Caller, you're on the air.
Hey, how you doing?
Fine. Do you have a question for Lori about censorship here on Channel 15?
Yeah, I do. Hey, you remember back when you were a little kid and you used to blow bubbles?
Oh, yeah! Remember that in the bubble used to... Yeah. Well, we got some lovely parting gifts, thanks. He's a nice guy, but this is a serious topic.
How do you know it wasn't
you.
a serious question?
Bubbles?
Oh, well, okay. Never know. I mean, that could be what you just did. Could be construed as an act of censorship.
No, that's just cutting them off at the knees. There's a big difference there.
Okay.
So now for the meeting again today, what specifically came up in terms of debate or issues that are currently people are working on?
I think the big issue, or the most challenging issue, that the people who are involved in public access have to face is the fact that a lot of times that you have to put a person's right to say what they want to say or what they need to say ahead of your own beliefs, and that's, sometimes it's hard. It's real hard to look at something that you don't believe in, something that you feel strongly about, and say it's what you. I think it was Voltaire who said, I may not agree with what you say, but I'll defend to the death your right to say it.
Yeah.
Lori, we have one more caller for you
Okay,
here.
that's my mother. I told her to call.
Caller, you have a question for Lori about censorship here on Channel 15?
Yes, I wondered if there's some way she can censor phone calls, like when she had Bigford for mayor on.
Mm-hmm.
I thought some of the people that called in were really hideous,
Right, they
Yeah.
were really just attacking him personally rather than...
and then his ability to, or his what his thoughts were on being mayor or running the city or changing it.
Crank phone calls during our call-in shows are definitely a problem. It's really just a question of getting a better phone system, which we hope to do as soon as we have the money.
So you could censor them.
Yeah, there's a delay thing.
And you could screen calls before they actually reach
Right.
the
The
honest
problem that
person.
we have now is we're nowhere near as sophisticated as like a Larry King or something, where you take the call in the control room and talk to the person, find out where they're from. You know how Larry King says the next call's from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and that kind of, because he's got an IFB, an internal feedback in his ear, and they're telling him. And then something like that. It's expensive, but we're looking into it.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea because a lot of your shows are good, but you get, like I said, you get a lot of prank phone calls.
Yeah,
We
and
do,
it's a
and
waste
after
time.
the shows too. I want to get the caller ID, so I'm going to start calling the people back after they call, make crank phone calls and yelling at them and stuff.
Oh, just being paranoid. Thanks a lot. Okay, we have to go to a cow interlude. I'd like to thank Lori for being with us. Lori, will you come back and see us again?
Sure, I'd be glad
Okay,
to.
thanks a lot.